It's medium, ghetto, intelligent, her conversation, so won't you come hang with the gang? Relatable topics from coming up broke to the nonsense that all come along with these dames. From trust funds to trapping, we cover it all in with laughter, so won't you come grab you a seat? From Oso Othello, you know that we medium, ghetto, and nothing can even compete. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the Medium Ghetto Podcast with your host, Jamar. How's it going?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh,
Can you hear me?
it's going well with me. I'm sorry. I thought you were that was a rhetorical question that you were asking the people that were listening. But yeah, it's going well. It's going well. It's okay. You can
It's
edit that out.
okay. I think I'm a little rusty. I might keep it in there because a little rusty and bust off. A little humor right there. But welcome. This is actually season 2 of the episode of the podcast. This season is going to be about emotions, and we're going to be diving deep until to my pretty much Adriel, my life, and as an introvert, live in the hood, raised by a thug mother of mine. Yep. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Are you gonna have your mom on the show?
No, I don't know if I don't know the show.
I mean, I think you should. I think that should be the last episode, so it'll come full circle. And you should have your mom on the show. She would appreciate that.
She would be. I think she's a little too rated R. I don't know.
All the more reason to have her on the show. So.
Man, yeah, that'd be good. We'll probably put her on. Put her on. But this season is definitely gonna be about emotions, and today it's about fear. So the theme of this episode is about fear, and we're gonna be talking about the 5 top fears of men. Sexual fears of men.
Sexual fears. This is,
and that's where you come in.
So this is when you reached out to me and was you wanted to do this topic. I kind of laughed because I was I'm the expert in men and fear and sex. So I'm a sex therapist. So hi everybody. My name is Adriel Collins. I am the lead therapist and owner of Melanin Sex Therapy. It is a private practice in Dallas, Texas, and I'm a sex therapist. I'm a sex educator. I'm a sex coach. I am getting my PhD in human sexuality, so I am an all-around sex nerd. So sex is what I specialize in, what I study, what I do. Sex is my life, pretty much. So when you reached out to me, I was damn, those are really good topics. And then when you got personal with your own insecurities around hair, because that's what I would like to start. I was oh, okay, well, we'll see where this goes. So what is your insecurity around having hair?
All right. So with that's gonna be part of it is body image. So a lot of people don't think guys have body image issues, and I think we all believe we're studs and we're confident. We're supposed to be confident, but the internet alone has broken some of this confidence for me. I'm damn, I can't even have body hair. But here's the thing for me, I was raised in a household, and I think we just all ripping on each other, right? And I think because body hair is something I can't control per se, it just became an insecurity over time. And it's to the point if I'm talking to somebody or in a relationship wise, or I'm interested in somebody, I'm just hoping they be like, oh yeah, I don't mind a little bit of body hair. I'm all right, yes.
How little, I got a lot of body hair. Are you can I grab your back when you turn around, that much body hair? Or
I mean, if it's if I don't shave for 4 months, yes. I gotta trim every time. It's close to lumberjack. It's giving me lumberjack vibes.
Has anybody ever said anything to you about it outside of your family? Or it's just been something you kind of maintained so nobody has to?
Oh man, I'll be I've heard it all. If I was let's say I don't shave my back, right? You can see a little bit in t-shirts. So I rarely wear t-shirts unless I shave my neck right here, right? I gotta shave everything. It's to the point where my beard and my back
Mm-hmm.
hair could connect at one point.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I don't get it. I don't know what happened. But it's always like, yo, you hairy as shit.
Mm. I mean, that's an observation. Like, I've never met anybody whose beard and back hair connected, but that doesn't make it a bad thing. Um, how has that
Oh my
impacted
god.
your dating life?
I'll be nervous to somebody say, "Oh, I like a little
Hmm.
hair."
Hmm.
And the thing is, I'm bald, so it's
Yeah.
like what happened? It's like my hair went from my head to the rest of my
Hmm.
body.
Hmm. Yeah, I think like that is like pretty common with men, especially as you know, like male pattern baldness is like specifically a male trait. So, you know, you see a lot of guys that don't have any hair on their head, but like they have hair on the rest of their body. So, how do you manage those insecurities? Other than like making sure like you're trimmed and shaved and stuff like that.
I just take it on the chin as soon as I hear it. stay away from stay away from social media doom scrolling,
Yeah.
about how much we hate hairy
Ah,
people.
I must be on the wrong side of like social because like the only time
I'm like,
I see like hair is when it comes to like women and like vulvas and stuff like that. So like it's interesting to and like this is not the first time like I've heard like men and social media and like having those types of insecurities and like it usually comes from like not feeling like they're muscular enough or like not feeling like their penis size is adequate enough. But you are the first person who has mentioned anything about body hair. So,
like I don't hear enough good things about body hair for me to think it's a good thing, and I think that's what it is. You often always hear, and I'm starting to get to it. Like, all right, I guess I'm 31 now,
mhm,
right? So I'm getting a little
mhm,
older, and I'm realizing that a lot of people don't know how to compliment.
mhm,
And so I find myself I go more for the girls who know how to compliment because they make me feel more secure about
mhm.
it. And I don't think a lot of people realize like guys like compliments
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And if you're just like playing mean jokes all the time, I'm like, all right, well, she probably don't mess with me like that. You know what I mean? Or if you compliment me enough, I might be like, you know what?
Be like, oh, we could do some bantu knots with your back hair. That'd be so cute. Oh
All
no,
right.
is that a,
No, it's not like that. But but it's like I think for guys, we don't hear enough compliments, so it's like little things like that.
mhm.
We be like, I don't know if people like it or they hate it.
Yeah, 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 and I think that that contributes to those anxieties when you are always hearing that it's a negative thing that you look a
Hmm.
certain way or you are built a certain way or whatever and you like you haven't received like positive affirmation about like your particular look and especially when it comes to social media you know those people are influencers, whatever, and they get paid to look a certain way. They get paid to project this image. And um, if that is the only thing that you're seeing, if that's the only thing that you are consuming, like you're going to start to think like, damn, like I should look this way. I should, you know, be this way. And if I'm not, then what's wrong with me? And the answer is absolutely nothing. You are a
Exactly.
normal human being with a normal body, with normal body hair. But yeah, definitely, like you said, when you don't receive that positive affirmation, it can contribute to furthering those insecurities. So a big thing with combating insecurities is you know making sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who are giving you those positive affirmations until you are able to start to accept the things about yourself that you can't control. I am not a fan of telling people that they have to love their body 100% of the time because you don't, and that's okay. But I think, you know, you can change the things that you can change. But at a certain point in time, there has to come like a certain amount of acceptance of like, this is the body that you're going to have for the rest of your life. So might as well try to make some peace with it. And
I never thought about it like that. The body you're going to have for the rest of your life, so you have to accept it.
Make some peace with it. Try to make peace with it as best as you can. And making peace with your body looks different for different people, but yeah.
But like, I feel like, so you remember, I could easily get laser hair removal.
Exactly.
But I feel like that's the equivalent of me feeling insecure about how I look and trying to get the equivalent of like a butt lift or something in a guy form. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with a little hair. And I think it's, it helps me. I like it. I couldn't imagine being completely bald.
Yeah. And, there's nothing wrong with, even if you wanted to get laser hair removal, if that is what you needed in order to feel good about yourself, in order to feel okay about yourself, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But I think, when any type of enhancement or plastic surgery, I always like to encourage people, like, who are you doing this for and what is the real motive? So if it's 100% you and like you're like, hey, I don't want to deal with this hair anymore and this is something that I'm doing for myself, versus like my partner wants me to get this done, or like I feel pressured to get this done, then I think taking a pause and like really examining your motive, because just like anything, if you are doing it for other people, like that's always going to be a moving target, because you're not gonna be able to satisfy everybody. Someone's always gonna have something to say. So if it's not your hair, it's gonna be your height, it's gonna be your whatever. And so
we gotta go to that one. Height.
You're short king.
So I'm like 5'11", okay. But I feel like a short king.
Why?
Man. Listen, man, comparison right here going on. I'm like, yo, social media is screwing us up. Like, if you're not 6'4", you might as well, I forgot the saying, like, but if you're not 6'4", you're short, apparently.
Yeah.
You're not 6 foot, you're short now. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, as a recovering height supremacist, I'm trying to get better. Love a short king, though. I think that, like height is another thing that you can't control. And social media really does amp that up. Like, you have to be a certain height, you have to be tall. I know a lot of women, including myself, would not go for men who were typically under 6 foot. But I think
exactly.
I think
that's your preference.
No, I am a reformed height supremacist, because I was missing out on a lot of like good dudes that were not 6 foot, that were a little bit shorter. And I think that just has like a society, like we have that stereotype that like taller men are like manly men and like really like these hyper masculine men. And, in order for a man to be able to protect you or whatever, like they have to be like a certain height or taller than you or whatever. And like that is simply not true. And it used to be like short men had attitudes, but
they were sassy.
They were.
Short men were sassy.
They were.
I still think some of them are sassy, but I won't. Yeah, it's fair. Short tempered.
But it is short king summer, apparently. So
what? Oh my God! If I start seeing that on social media, y'all pulling up with the shortest man y'all can. It's like, yeah, my short king 5'4",
exactly.
3 inches shorter than me. I'm like, yo, this is wild.
We got Zendaya and that white man that she's with. What's his name? Spider-Man? I don't know his name. But there are a bunch of celebrities like that are tall women with short men, and so that's what makes it short king summer. So
I won't lie, I was interested in somebody who was like 1 inch shorter than me, but she's taller in heels and shoes.
So would you not date a woman that was taller than you?
I would. I absolutely would. I would not care at all. I just be like, I don't like being body shamed because I was born this way. Well, again, I could easily get my knee extensions now. They got knee extension surgeries.
It's painful though. Like that's a bit much.
Listen, man, anything for the whole.
And why? Why would you get? But I think like the biggest thing is too. I'm not saying like people. You gotta like who like you. My
Hmm.
grandpa was like notorious for saying like, girl, you better like who like you. But I think it's just like being realistic about like what your dating preferences and like what your dating pool looks like, because with the rise of social media, I think that everyone is expecting like their partners to be like these Instagram models and like these perfect people, and like that's just not the reality of what is out here in these streets. And like even Instagram models and Instagram influencers don't look like that in real life. So I think a lot of media literacy and a lot of like really being critical about what it is that you're looking at and like who it is that you're looking at, and not taking that as reality and that everyone is going to look like that.
Absolutely, because I'm pretty much like human resources at my
Mm-hmm.
job, so I'm seeing these people like in person versus how they perceive their persona online, and it's two completely different
Yes,
things.
yes.
And I'm just like, yo, this is almost catfishing for everybody. This for the bros, for the hoes,
Yes, yes.
for
Yes,
everybody.
I have a couple of clients who are influencers, and yes, they be coming to my office sometimes looking busted and with bonnets on, and you know, they just look like regular everyday, like you would never know. But when they get in front of that camera, get the filters, get the lighting, get the hair, the makeup, like it does wonders. So
Exactly. Well, we're gonna move on with this one because we can talk about body image forever. Even in my man boobs that I recently got because I haven't been to the gym in 2 months, that I'm very, very self conscious of. But we're not gonna talk about these man boobs. I could talk about them
that's
forever.
another episode by itself.
Man boobs alone will be an episode by itself. But like one big thing I know we talked about it was all right. So it's this new culture out here that it's not like all right. It's like we're gonna talk about rejection,
Hmm.
right? And the fear of
Hmm.
rejection. And I think for guys, like we're expected so much to be this sexual being, this
Hmm.
provider. We're expected to look good. We're expected to somehow grow 3 more inches in height. It feels like we're expected to be like a six-figure
Hmm.
king by the age of
Hmm.
25 and paying all the
Hmm.
bills and not getting very upset about how life
Hmm.
is. It just sometimes even like, all right, rejection. That's what I'm going with this one,
Yeah.
right? It feels like I know one big fear for guys is this,
Hmm.
right? Is what if we perform bad and we get rejected?
Yeah. So, with all of the stuff that you said, that is all, and I don't mean to like get into like well, hell, I am. That's patriarchy. So, all of the stuff, like men put that stuff in place. And like that is what people say when patriarchy hurts everybody and like toxic masculinity hurts men. That's that, because it's not, men put that expectation on themselves that they have to make a certain amount of money, they have to like be a certain way, do a certain way. And I'm not saying like women don't like take on that type of toxic masculinity and that type of patriarchy type of thinking, but I think that looking at where all of that stuff comes from. And so to answer your question about being rejected or just sexually, like when men have like erectile failure in bed, I think that that is a very real possibility, because so much of sex has been centered around the penis, and like how we learn about sex, how we talk about sex is like sex can't happen without a penis present, or sex can't happen without a hard penis present. And like that is simply not true. And I think if more people really took the time and really explored, and like we did a better job with teaching sex ed, we did a better job with teaching people how to have sex in this country, I think like those fears of rejection would be less. As you know, like I work with a lot of like LGBTQ populations, and like that is the one thing that I do love and appreciate about like gay men. Like they don't give a shit like whether someone has like a hard dick or not, because they can still have sex, they can still find ways to have sex and like it be pleasurable. Not saying that there's not that element of rejection there, but like there's something more, I don't know, like they're more sexually open, they're more sexually freeing. Whereas I find with a lot of like heterosexual men, like you can only have sex this way. And if you have sex any other way, like it's like something abnormal or like the penis.
Listen, I totally get it. Being a heterosexual male is hard
It
out
is.
here. We're hard on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I was watching a comedy, so I went to go see Dave Chappelle one. And there's like, man, listen, gay bars. They were talking about how good gay bars were. Gay people have a lot of fun.
Yes.
But a heterosexual bar,
No.
we watch sports. We watch sports in silence. I was like, wow. They're jumping around, people buying drinks for each other.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then you go to a heterosexual bar, we watch sports in silence.
Yes. And I it is true. And then like it's very limiting. And I feel like that is what sets people up for rejection. And I don't want to like place this problem all on men, because I feel like women, we contribute to that too, because you know, the same way men are taught about sex in this country, women, we are taught about sex in this country, and it is very much penis centered. And so having those conversations, and if you are worried about erectile failure, just know that it is normal and it happens to everybody. And that doesn't mean that you're not attracted to the person that you're having sex with. That doesn't mean anything. Like it could just be anxiety, it could be if you had too much to drink, it could be if you had too much to smoke.
Damn.
Like it could be if it's too cold in the room, like it could be a variety of things. And so I think having those conversations of it's normal, and like taking the pressure off of the partner who has a penis in the relationship. And like if your dick doesn't get erect, you can do a cajillion other things. Like I recently wrote a blog on that, and like you can even have penetrative sex with a soft penis. You just have to know what you're doing. So
But hey, listen, send me that blog link. It's gonna be in the video, the video description below, everyone. With that being said, that is actually interesting. But one big thing is this with what was it? Oh my god. All right, so another thing, right? I don't know what's going on, man. They making, there's these guys out here who are making it hard for guys like me who don't eat butt. It's because eating butt has become the new standard of all relationships.
As it should be. No, I'm kidding. I'm not hearing a problem here. No.
Who the hell raised the bar here? I was just like, damn.
Go ahead.
No, but it's concerning me, because I was like, damn, I don't want to eat no butt.
You don't have to. Communication, right? Like
I'm feeling judged at this point. I was in a room full of ladies. I was like, you don't eat no butt. I was like, damn, what you guys want to lynch me?
You should like ask the same thing in return. Like, do you? And if she says no, then okay, then why don't you? I think like it's all preference. And you know, I don't know. I can say like that's not like a particular like new sexual act. I'm very happy. I believe it was like Kevin Gates that popularized it. I don't know. I'm just talking shit. I don't know.
All I know is I think it was Kevin Gates and Sukiyana.
Yeah, see, I'm just bullshitting. I don't know. But I think like, you know, you are allowed to have your boundaries around sex, and good for you for communicating. Like that's a boundary that you have, and like that's, you know, not something that you are interested or into. And the thing about rejection is we got to stop making rejection all about us. Like we are like the sole reason why someone is rejecting us. Like everyone comes into interactions with their own shit, their own boundaries, just like we come into every interaction with our own shit and our own boundaries. And so people
Mm-hmm.
are allowed to have their boundaries. People are allowed to say, hey, this is what I want and this is what I don't want. And that doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't make you like anything. This just means that I am asking for something that you are not capable of giving me, or you are asking for something that I am not capable of giving you. And it's all good. Like, okay, you don't do that. She doesn't want to do that, doesn't do that. She wants to do that, does do that. Okay, go find someone that doesn't require that and like call it good. And so,
Listen, a good man, the description of a good man under is eats butt, man.
oh, okay. I mean,
I'm just saying, man, it's hard to compete with these booty eaters out here.
I mean, you know,
When you got a guy in your inbox just trying to, you know.
I mean, you could just like go to like the perineum, which is like the space between the anus and the vagina, and just lick there, and there you go. Or you know, there are ways, but if that's a boundary that you you don't want to do, then no one should be forcing you to do it. But
All right, let's keep this on record. I never said I wouldn't
okay,
do it,
okay.
but I'm not out here
Like
being
everybody
like,
can't
I'm
get
not
it.
out here. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not out here in the mall like, yeah, girl.
With that ass. Yes. I get it.
I see what you got. I want to eat that, you know. Not out here off
Okay, so like just to preface for the record, he does do that,
for the
but
record.
everybody is not entitled to that. Like,
Exactly. I'm not out here like, yo man, man, we can get this. But
I think
like,
like
it's wild.
you gotta phrase it like that. You gotta phrase it like we gotta work our way up to that. Because like you're right, you cannot be like doing that to everybody because like you don't know what everybody's hygiene habits are. There's like just a lot of factors that go into that. So good for you.
Yeah, and I feel like also with rejection too.
Mhm.
Oh my god, I'm gonna smack this down. Also with rejection, like it takes you out the zone of
Mhm.
sex because if you got that fear, you're just thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah, and definitely that is a valid observation and a valid point when it comes to rejection, that it can take you out of the zone. It can cause like a lot of anxiety, a lot of performance anxiety. But I do feel like there are exercises, there are techniques, there are learning how to just be present in your body and accepting that you don't have control over whether or not a person's going to reject you or whether or not this person is going to choose to sleep with you. Only thing you have control over is you, essentially. And you
That's
can
true.
be like the best of the best or think you are the best of the best, but like at the end of the day, like I said, we're all coming into sexual encounters with our own shit, our own likes, our own dislikes. And so it's not always like 100% about you. And so I think focusing on what you can control and just learning how to let the rest be what it is. I think that that's how you kind of combat some of that rejection. And not to say like rejection doesn't hurt or it doesn't sting, because it does, but I don't think that we do a good enough job with teaching people how to manage expectations and how to manage themselves when they are rejected. People want to lash
I
out
feel
and
you on
get
that one.
angry. And
Yeah, it's okay to be rejected, and I feel like even on the guy's end, if you reject you can. I feel like it's taboo to say what you didn't prefer to a girl after sex. Now, I feel like
why?
I'm gonna get beat up.
That is That is, why is it taboo? Why do you feel like that?
I just don't want to hurt her feelings.
That's very kind and sweet of you. But if you are in a relationship and like this is a person that you are continuing to want to have sex with, then that's a conversation that needs to be had. You should be able
Hmm.
to tell your partner what it is that you like, what it is that you dislike, because how are they going to know? And I think for me personally, like I would rather like you tell me like, hey, I didn't like this, or hey, that didn't feel good, then I keep doing it and like you just like, damn, like this sucks, or you know, I can deal with my hurt feelings. And it's just learning not to take that personally and really just listening to your partner. And like that's not a dig on you just because I didn't like something that you did. Like that's not an attack on your personhood. It just means I don't find that pleasurable what you did, and can we do something else? That's all.
I like the "can we do something else" part because I've said it once and I've regretted it. I was like, damn, I'm hearing this for like 5 weeks.
Like, girl, like let's just do something else. Like it's not that
Yeah.
deep. God.
Well, I don't know about tonight because last time I was like, yo, that's been 5 weeks.
Well, we gonna let that go. Like
Let it go.
how are we gonna move forward as a unit if you can't let shit go?
Exactly. I'm like, yo, it
It
happens.
does. It does.
But listen, this one's not for
Okay.
me, but we can go for talk about sexual dysfunction. And just for the note, I have never dealt with this one before, but I may have, and I may have not have known it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. Let me see. Let me think. All right. So, concerns about experience difficulties or problems with sexual functioning, such as erectile dysfunction or delayed
Hmm.
ejaculation. These conditions can lead to frustration, embarrassment, and
Confidence.
loss of confidence in sexual encounters.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really went through this, but what are some things you've seen?
Yeah. It's kind of going back to what I was saying. If you haven't dealt with it yet, I can almost guarantee you in the future, you probably will. Um,
Oh no.
just to normalize it. Like it happens, and especially with erectile dysfunction or erectile failure. I like using the word erectile failure because to me, like erectile dysfunction is like there's something medical, there's something permanent that's happened like more than a handful of times, and there's like a medical underlying root cause of why you're having dysfunction. But like failure, like it's happened like once or twice in the moment, and the unfortunate thing about it is when it happens once, it's like a snowball. Like that's all you can think about is like, is it going to happen again? Um, am I going to be able to stay hard? Am I going to be able to like finish sex? And like, unfortunately, like the more you think about it, like it's going to happen. And so when I work with men who are experiencing like any type of dysfunction or erectile failure, we do a lot of anxiety management if there's no underlying medical issue, and just teaching them how to get back into their bodies and like focus on like their sensations that they're feeling. And even if it does happen again, learning not to fixate on it, learning not to get stuck in your head. So if it does happen again, like what other positions can we try? Can we try oral sex? Can we try touching? Can we try mutual masturbation? And like not doing all of those things with the purpose of getting yourself hard again, but just doing it with a purpose on focusing on your body and focusing on pleasure. Because if you focus on your body and you're focusing on the sensations and like the pleasure that you're feeling, then you are going to have an erection. So my old supervisor, my mentor, always used to use the analogy like you'd never see animals having sex when there's like when they sense danger. And your body's the exact same way. So like if your anxiety is heightened, that's like an anxiety response. So that's the fight, flight, or freeze. And so like your nervous system will shut down and you'll go into like a freeze mode. And so you can't get an erection when your body is in freeze mode. So you have to learn how to unfreeze your body and manage anxiety. And like the same way with any type of delayed ejaculation or premature ejaculation. And like,
All right, 1 second. What is delayed? I've never heard the term
yeah,
delayed.
so delayed ejaculation is when it takes people like longer than usual to ejaculate, or they just never ejaculate, or they don't ejaculate with partners. Um, and like that one is always so interesting to me. I get that it's an issue and it can be distressing, but we tie ejaculation to sexual pleasure. And I've spoken to like a lot of women about this because it doesn't bother my men clients too much. Like if they have delayed ejaculation, like the first thing I ask, like when I talk to my couples are you trying to have kids? And if they say, yeah, then okay, we can work on it so you can ejaculate, or like there are other ways to get pregnant without him ejaculating inside of you, like doing it directly. But if you're not trying to have kids, like what's the issue? And the issue is that, like I said, we tie ejaculation to pleasure. And just because a man ejaculates, that somehow means that like you finished and like you did sex good. And ejaculation is just a physiological response. So a man can ejaculate and like the sex could be trash and like he is not feeling the sex. It wasn't any good, but like you rub the head and like you a bunch of times, like you're going to ejaculate. Like I said, it's a physiological response. And you can have an ejaculation and orgasm are not the same thing. And so having that pressure put on someone is like, you have to finish, you have to ejaculate, or like, I don't feel good, I feel like the sex isn't good. It's another thing with erectile dysfunction. It just further contributes to like the nervous system shutting down and like going dorsal and freezing up and clenching up and not being able to ejaculate. And same with premature ejaculation too. I feel like I just rambled there. But
No, I did not think that. I was just like, wait, if I ejaculate, it's a good time. But you're right, because I felt different, like relieved, different types of feelings from like if someone did better than, or like pleasure me better than I'm used to. You know what I mean? Like it's more of a, it's different even for guys. I think as guys we never talk about these things at all, so we don't know the difference. We're just like, oh, I just bust, I'm good.
yeah,
But in reality, no.
yeah. And, you see it when, people use masturbation for stress relief. I mean, it's not necessarily like when you're masturbating yourself, like that is like the best experience in the whole wide world for some people. Some people it is, but, you rub long enough, like you're going to ejaculate. And that doesn't mean like it was like this super great, pleasurable, awesome thing. It sometimes it's just like a physiological response.
Exactly. I never thought about it like that. See, and I think we definitely need to do another one. So one of the emotions we're going to talk about in the future is going to be confusion,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's like, what was it? What did you say? Ejaculation versus what?
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I really, if you have time, that'd be a good episode. I'm just saying,
Oh yeah,
like just going in depth about like what's the difference, because so many of us are just like, oh well, the same
yeah,
thing.
no, and they're not. And yeah, because like men can ejaculate and not have orgasms, or you can have like a full-blown orgasm and not ejaculate. And the same thing with women, like ejaculation is not the same thing as orgasming. So like you can do both at the same time. Like an orgasm can cause you to ejaculate. But like they're two totally different things. And I think what you are getting at is goal directed sex versus pleasure based or process based sex, and
Exactly.
how we are taught about, well, most of us learn about sex is through porn and through TV, and like those types of things are very goal directed, where like the orgasm is like the central thing, and if you don't have an orgasm, then like the sex was trash, it was no good, and like there's always a goal to get to. And like goal directed sex, like sometimes you want that, sometimes you need that, because sometimes there is a goal with sex. But other times it's good to have like that pleasure based, process oriented sex, where like you are focusing on like what feels good for your body, what your partner feels like, just all of those like intimate, connective things that make sex so mind blowing and pleasurable. I tell people, like, if you are chasing orgasms, like you're never going to have one. And so like you got to learn to
Mm.
stop chasing orgasms, and men have to learn to stop thinking like you can give like your partner an orgasm. Like you don't give your partner orgasms, like you give those to yourself. Like a man can't give me an orgasm, like I give myself an orgasm. So if it's like that process based sex, if it's like everything is good and we're connected, then like orgasms are going to come, orgasms are going to happen naturally. But like no one gives you an orgasm. Like it really is true, like your biggest sex organ is your brain.
So I got a question. So this is something I've been seeing a lot on social media and little podcast clips. Someone claimed, I forgot who it was. They were saying, "Oh well, I think one of the main reasons why women aren't having orgasms is because there's like less, I guess, like intimacy during sex. Like it's less process based
Mm-hmm.
sex, and guys are at this point you're dating guys who are not even kissing you on the mouth,
Yeah, and like with every person, it's
which is wild to me. By the way, I don't get that.
with, but you know, like with every person's different, and like there has always been an orgasm gap between. So are you familiar with like what the orgasm gap is? Ew.
No.
Okay, so the orgasm gap is just like how people orgasm and like how frequently people orgasm. So like at the top are straight heterosexual men, like they tend to have the most orgasms, and then there are gay men, and then there are bisexual men, and then there is lesbian women, and then bisexual women, and then at the bottom are straight women. Straight women have the least amount of orgasms of all people having sex. Um, and like the thing is, like, you know, we still don't know what makes women orgasm. So women's sexuality, that is not studied. That is still very understudied and underfunded. So there are speculations as to why the gap is so wide between straight women and straight men. I think like a lot of it has to do with like physiology too. Like a lot of men don't know like women's anatomy. Some claim they do, but they don't.
Yeah, we're confused.
So,
I'm okay to say we confused. It's not like we don't on lunch breaks. You don't read this shit. I'm just saying.
you don't? Like I'm the only one that does? No.
Yeah, apparently.
So like there's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
So I think like with the intimacy part of it, like that could be a part of it. Like there are women like that need that intimacy aspect of it. There are women that don't require that. But I think like listening to your partner and communicating with your partner, I think like that is a big component of this too, because like I can't tell you, like when I'm teaching sex ed with just specifically women, I get so many that like their partners don't listen to them, and like they feel like men feel like pounding out a woman for like an hour is like pleasurable, because like that's very like porn sex. And no, like that shit hurts. Like nobody wants to be like pounded out for like 2 hours. And yeah.
I won't lie, it kind of hurts us too.
So why do you
And
do
what's
it?
the what they call those? The IUDs?
Yes.
Those things hurt.
Oh, well, you shouldn't be able to feel like the tip of those. If you're feeling like the tip of the IUD, then like the IUD is coming down. So they need to get that
Oh
checked
no.
out. Or the strings. You might be feeling the strings too. Those,
I think that might
yeah.
be it. Like I swear it's like something's like destroying the
Yeah,
tip.
yeah. So you may be feeling.
And I'm just like, God damn, this hurts. I've never admitted that, but at least y'all
I
know
know,
now.
right? Some women do not like deep penetration because, yeah, if you don't do it right, if it's not like done like at a certain pace, then yes, it can be very painful, and like you can hurt someone, and like some women find like having their cervix played with or like having the penis touch the cervix, like that's pleasurable. Most women don't. So,
Shout out the shrimps.
exactly.
It's gonna be a short man shrimp summer.
Exactly. We gotta stop like listening to like whoever tells us that big dicks are like the epitome, because it's not. Like, length is not important, girth is more important than length, because like the average like vaginal opening is like only like what, like 5-6 inches deep. So you got 12 inches, like where the rest of it's going, I don't know. So
Like, what are we doing
yeah,
here?
yeah. So
My math ain't math either, so I'm like, all right, bet. Well, it's gonna be a short shrimp
so
boy summer or whatever.
exactly. So I think that you
Dude,
don't have to like be insecure if you're not like rocking a third leg. And if anybody tells you like they need like a third leg, I'm like, what are you doing? Do you like that because you've been told to like that, or like do you really like that? Because
I think a lot of people on social media and some of the girls even
yeah,
cap.
yeah,
I'm just like, it's no way.
because like where is all of that going? Where it's yeah, there's only so far it can go before it runs out of space, and then you're just faking. So, and that's a whole nother thing.
Exactly. Well, let's get back to the fear of intimacy. Like, all right, so the concerns about experience difficulties or problems with sexual
Mhm.
functioning. Wait, that wasn't it. I'm sorry, I read the wrong. Some men may have fears related to emotional vulnerability or forming deep connections during sexual encounters. Worries about being emotionally exposed or losing control can impact their ability to fully engage in intimate moments. I won't lie.
Mhm.
I think this is a scientific way of saying you got pussy whipped. But
Is that a bad thing? Why is that a
I
bad
guess it's
thing?
not. Men are scared to be like vulnerable, and I think the main reason is as soon as we feel as though you've seen a softer side, I'm like, yo, they gonna leave.
Yeah,
We can't protect you if we're too soft.
yeah. I mean, I hate that notion, that you can't protect someone if you're too soft. I mean, I don't know. I have all types of thoughts about that, because I think I don't want you to be like this like wife beater. So like if as soon as you're like so like your emotions are so bottled up, if I say like the sky is blue, like you turn around and backhand me. And
No, it's not.
it's like, whoa,
No,
what just
I think
happened? And so I think I'm starting to see a shift with that, which, it's not happening as fast as I would like it to, but I am starting to see more men come to therapy, and like a lot of men come to sex therapy and really want to get in touch with that emotional side, because they see how it's impacting their relationships. They see how it's impacting how they show up sexually. And yeah, I do think like a lot of men, well, I don't think, like I know, like men want that connection, men want that intimacy, men want that vulnerability. But I think like so much of that has been beaten into men, that only way to be a man is like you have to be like this hyper masculine caricature of a man. And even like with Black men, I can understand like a lot of that comes from survival too, so like big shock, white supremacy is at the root of some of that too. So men weren't allowed to be vulnerable. Men couldn't afford to be soft because that could sometimes mean the difference between like life and death, and like really like protecting your family from something bad that could happen to your family. But like now you don't have to take on that burden of being like hard and hyper masculine. I think like you can do both. You can still be this protector, this provider, if that is what you want to do, but you can kind of lay some of that down and like be emotionally more emotionally available and connected to your partner. And with women, we kind of have to I cannot even believe I'm saying this, but we kind of have, well, not kind of, we have to learn how to hold space for our partners when they are coming to us wanting to be emotional and wanting to be vulnerable, because for a lot of men that does take a lot of courage to say like, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I need, and like to identify those emotions. And if you are with someone who does not hold space for you that well, or who will not give you that space, then you're going to shut down, and like it's going to be hard. So like, why should I open up to a person who doesn't even receive when I'm being vulnerable, who like rejects me essentially when I'm being vulnerable, but tells me I need to be more of emotionally available and vulnerable. So I think learning how to hold space. So like, I'm not saying like it's up to you to be like your partner's therapist and like pull those emotions out of your partner if they're not doing that, but because like that's work that you as a man, you have to do on your own. But when that does happen, like learning how to hold space for those types of emotions, and that can take work on the partner's part to learn how to hold space, because if she's been socialized that men aren't supposed to cry, men aren't supposed to be vulnerable, then of course like she's not going to know what to do with that shit either. So it is the blind leading the blind. So everybody go to therapy. That's moral of that
Therapy for
story.
everybody.
So
I won't lie. One of my experiences with that, I was just going through it. I was doing the whole, paying most of the bills, trying to be the manly man, all that good stuff. And then I was just having a hard month. Things are changing. Car went down, so we were a little bit back in like bills. And I am stressed the hell out. And I expressed how I felt, and it's just like, oh. I was like, damn. Ain't gonna tell you shit no more. Backstory: relationship did not work out after that. So I was like, you know what? I'm like, damn.
yeah.
If I'm, working this hard and knowing you don't even care, then why come to you at all? Why be with you? That's where I went to. I was like, why even be?
Back in my toxic days when I was abusive, before I found the Lord and therapy, I think like I was like that a little bit. I remember I had a partner who was like really, really stressed and like was having like a lot of job issues. And like, I have a very like sarcastic, like I am a smart ass. And so like, that was not the time, that was not what he needed. And he told me, he was like, can you just be on my side for right now? And I was like, damn, that kind of took me back. And I was like, I thought I was, but I wasn't. And so I had to kind of check myself. And I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. But like, it took a lot of work for me to learn how to hold that space, to learn how to be empathetic. So like, as empathetic as I am with my clients, as much as like I hold space with my clients, like I've had to learn how to do that with partners as well. And just like, really, like if we are a partnership, like be on my partner's side. And when they need me to be on their side, when they need me to do whatever, then I'm there. I always say like, I am my partner's ride or die.
That's all it should be.
I'm not going to jail for you, but yeah.
Nah, it's like, you're absolutely right. Like, I feel as though if, like, guys, we often see our worth in what we can provide, and at the moment we can't provide anything, we're scared we're not worth anything to y'all. That we created that, by the way. So at that point in our head, we're in our head, and we just need some reassurance.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, yo, if the thing that the reason why I was pretty much born in this world is compromised, like where is my
Yeah,
value?
yeah,
And our value is sometimes what is our perceived value that we believe the world is
yeah,
giving us or we're giving to the world.
yeah, and like you are absolutely right, and I think it's up to you and like therapy to realize like you have value and like that has never been your worth. That was just some bullshit
Mm-hmm.
that you were told. Patriarchy and like gender and all of that, that is like the ultimate like gaslighty mind fuck, because it all comes from white supremacy and like dominant culture. White supremacy sets like what we consider men, what we consider women, and you know, the old stereotypes. Well, a man is supposed to work and take care of their family. Well, like after enslavement ended, like black men weren't able to find jobs, so how can you work and take care of your family? Due to redlining, like you weren't able to buy a house, and so all of these goalposts get moved on like what makes a man and like what makes a woman, and just to exclude people out of it. And like you will never be like that like version of like what makes a man in order to be accepted by like white supremacy culture. So we got to let that shit go.
Yeah, we
But
definitely
yeah,
do.
you are definitely worth more than like what you've been told. You are definitely worthy of what you've been told to feel like you are. And so it's just a matter of like you realizing that for yourself.
Hmm. I think honestly, I think we should end it on that
Yeah.
one because you're right
Yeah.
with that. Like you value your value is the value you create for yourself,
Exactly.
and I think that's my biggest lesson this year as a man is the my value I give myself is my
Exactly.
value.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't need to shave my chest for the hoes. I don't need to I don't need to get my leg extension for the hoes.
Exactly.
I should do it for Jamal.
Exactly. And these hoes ain't loyal anyway. So no.
Exactly.
Don't call
No leg
don't
extension.
call women hoes. That's not nice.
Now I'm actually talking about the hoes, not the
Oh,
woman.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
There's a difference. You got to distinguish shit.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
I mean, it's a term of endearment, I guess.
Yes. 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 I'll take it.
All right, with that, guys, I want to say thank you to everyone. So thank you to Philadelphia, PA. I'm actually like, 15 minutes from Philadelphia. Shout out to y'all. Being a major, they're over 25% of my listeners are from Philly, by the way.
Awesome.
And that's a really good. I was like, wow. So Medea, PA is actually Media, PA, but people every time people come from down south, they be like, oh
Yeah.
wait, am I at Medea? No, it's Media. Havertown, shout out to being the third most viewed cities and downloads on the podcast, the Medium Ghetto Podcast. Baltimore, thank you so much. That is crazy. I didn't think Baltimore would be in fourth. We got Wilmington, Delaware, and fifth, and our sixth is Drexel Hill, PA. Virginia is actually seventh. Eighth is Clifton Heights, PA. Washington, D.C. is our ninth, and our 10th most viewed is actually in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Yay.
I really want to say thank you to all you people who viewed us. And where can these people find you? I'm going to have all your links in the descriptions as well.
Yeah, so I am at Melanin Sex Therapy on every social. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I do not do TikTok because I'm not cool enough to do TikTok at this point in my life.
Me either. Okay.
And I am too busy for Twitter. So, And my website is melaninsextherapy.com. And then I also have a podcast, which I will start season 2 of, called Sex and Color. But right now you can catch season 1. It's on wherever you get your podcasts. So anywhere you can think about getting podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever else. I'm surprised how many podcasting platforms there are, honestly, but it's there. So it's just basically about sex and sexuality from BIPOC voices, and so I love doing that. Oh.
That's dope. So, with that being said, I bid you adieu. Stay medium ghetto, y'all.